Good morning. Well, today's readings, we finally leave Easter Sunday. The first reading takes place after Jesus' resurrection, and the gospel is from before Jesus' death and resurrection. In the gospel, we see Jesus use the idea of the shepherd and the sheep. And in a flock of sheep, they look up to the shepherd who takes care of them, whose voice becomes very familiar, and they identify and follow that voice. And it's unique that if a sheep gets lost, he wanders away. Not knowing how to get back, he hunkers down on the ground and starts bleeding until he hears that familiar voice or until the shepherd finds him. In the first reading, we see Peter and the apostles stand up and start preaching Jesus resurrected. Notice it is with one voice that all the apostles are there preaching. They have become the voice of the shepherd. Jesus, the shepherd of us all. They are the voice now that leads us to God. They are the voice that leads the flock. It is the Spirit that gives sound to that voice. It is how the church functions and how it works. Today in our own lives, there was another very special voice and special shepherd who we all had, called our mothers. In our own life, all of us were born and nurtured in a special way with a special voice. And all the things that we learned growing up as a child, those things which make us what we are and how we are, and the uniqueness that we become are because of that voice that we heard and still hear. Our mothers, whether living or deceased, still are very important in our lives. We never forget the lessons they have taught us, the lessons we have learned, the faith, the belief they have passed on to us. I know the role of women in the past 100 years has changed somewhat in our society. No longer like my mother, who was a housewife who never worked after she got married, except to take care of the home, take care of the children and her husband. I think today a woman would be appalled at the thought of a mother getting up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to prepare her husband's breakfast before he goes out to work, to go back to bed and then get up and make breakfast for the children and get them out to school, hand them their lunches, and then be ready to meet them when they come home. No, today the woman herself has to get up and go to work. And certainly the lives have changed, but the role of what a mother is and does, it hasn't changed. In fact, it's been enhanced in many ways, and it has enhanced the role of her helpmate, her husband, because much more importantly today, the two must work together because both are away from the home so much. So as we celebrate Good Shepherd Sunday, let us not forget the most important shepherds in our lives, and more importantly, our mothers, as we honor and celebrate them today. Whether living or deceased, we all have a mother and we all can honor them and pray to God that they be with him and we join them in life forever.